you know, you don't have to be like fully natural in every part of your body when it comes to body hair. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But why aren't we talking about it?
So the history of pubic hair removal is very unclear and convoluted, and there are also many different reasons behind women's choices that might be sexual, aesthetic. They might have this idea that it increases like this sexuality or improves the sexuality. There might be social pressures from other women that might be real or presumed. There might be social pressures from men that might be real and presumed. There might be pressure from sexual partners, whatever. So there's like a huge number of reasons why women remove their pubic hair. So then one question that I had is it actually good for you?
That is a great question.
And I have to say, like, I'm talking about like just physically, right?
Yeah, sure.
So what follows now is very bad news for hypochondriacs like me. Because, again, as always, no judgment. We all do plenty of unhealthy shit in our daily lives, you know? I'm not judging you for doing unhealthy things. But it turns out that shaving your pubic area is actually not very good for you. It comes with health risks.
Yes.
Shaving in particular can cause microabrasions, contact dermatitis, and skin disruption. And that can make it easier to transmit viruses and STDs, like HIV, herpes.
So like, if you think about it, if you cut yourself shaving on your leg, like, it's not that big of a deal. But if you cut yourself shaving your vaginal area and you have an open sore on your vaginal area, it makes it much more easy to transmit viruses like
HIV or hepatitis. Yeah. Tiggerman and Hodgins, again, link in the show notes, note that pubic hair also serves as a, quote, a biological safety net to protect the vulva from bacterial infections.
And you know what's actually interesting about that? I was, in preparation for the episode, I was reading articles and reading, you know, academic articles and non-academic articles. And then I looked at the comments, of course. And one woman, I don't remember if it was a woman or a man, but one person was saying something about shaving or waxing and why they did it or why they didn't do it. And the person responding to them was like, basically saying like, well, we should do it because it's more hygienic. Like, well, I'm all for people doing whatever they want to do, but like, let's think about hygiene here. And it's like, well, actually, if we're thinking about hygiene, there's a legit reason why like body hair is there and why it's actually hygienic. Like, do you wash yourself? Do you wash your hair on your head? Then you should wash the hair on other parts of your body too.
Yeah. And in an article by Emily Gibson, again, link in the show notes, she says that doctors are actually very aware that shaving, and as far as I know, she's also a doctor, so she says that doctors are aware that shaving a body part before surgery actually increases the risk of infection. And she says the same goes for pubic hair, and she says that bacterial pathogens, namely group A streptococcus, staphylococcus aureus, MRSA, and cellulitis can, I quote, fester happily in the warm, moist environment of the genitals.
Oh, Jesus.
I love that sentence.
Wow.
They can fester happily in the warm, moist environment of the genitals.
No, but I mean, this is fair. Like, look, think about how many times you cut yourself while you're shaving. Whether it's a tiny nick or just like razor burn on your legs. You know, you shave and it's, you know, you've got those bumps where that's all places where the skin has been irritated, that you have little microabrasions, and each of those little places are an opportunity for bacteria to like worm their way in and make your life miserable. Yeah. And if it's in your genital area, like, ugh.
Yeah. Yummy. As I said, this is the worst part for hypochondriacs, so. Yeah. But it's over now. It's over now.
But I mean, like I said, like, do what you want to do, but like, take care of your body, right? I mean, whether you've got hair, whether you don't have hair there, whether you want to have it, whether you don't want to have it. I mean, interrogate why it is you're doing it. As if it's just because to like, adhere to social norms, like, that's fine. You know, at least you know those are the social norms. But, you know, if you've got hair, like, keep it clean. If you don't have hair, like, make sure that you're taking care of your skin down there, because the skin is, like, very sensitive. And, you know, ingrown hairs, all of those types of things, like, they can lead to potential festering bacteria.
I think one thing that you said is very important. You said that it's also okay to do something because of social norms.
Yeah.
And I think this is important to stress, that we don't want to shame women for shaving at all, even if they just do it because they feel they have to, you know?
Yeah.
Because we all do things that we only do because we have to do them. We all do things just because we want to adhere to social norms. Because we're social beings, you know?
Yes. And we live in society that we know that people judge us. But we can also say it's bullshit that people are judging me for this and still do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, I mean, we can say, like, it's bullshit that people would judge me if I had hair under my arms, but I'm going to shave because I don't have the mental space to deal with people making fun of me.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with people's bullshit right now. And it's okay.
Yeah. So, like, you do you, and, like, you already know that it's bullshit that, like, people, like, stigmatize body hair.
Exactly, yeah. I think that was just important to stress, because a lot of times I think women can also feel shamed by feminists telling them that shaving, like, and that's not what we want to do. At all.
We're not here to shame you.
No.
Like, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
All right.
So we've talked a little bit about second wave feminists, and I want to talk a little bit about kind of cultural movements, contemporary cultural movements, that are kind of body hair positive. So the first one, I guess, going back to second wave feminism, and as much as second wave feminists often get a bad rap these days, there's actually a lot to be said for the ways that they push back against patriarchy, both big and small. And so one way was with body hair. Burning bras, not shaving, not adhering to, like, patriarchal beauty standards was definitely one way that second wave feminists countered patriarchal control of their bodies. And as I said, what I always found interesting as someone who straddled kind of two different cultures and was exposed to Europeans, particularly Germans, from a young age, was that even into the 80s and 90s, women's body hair, or at least armpit hair, was really the norm throughout Europe. And I think that, Beatrice, you were kind of tapping into this, where you said, like, it was really in the 90s-ish where people started shaming people for body hair.
Well, in my case, it was the early 2000s.
Oh, early 2000s. Okay. Yeah. And that goes along with what we were saying, like, in the last 20 years, this, like, real push to eliminate pubic hair as well. So in terms of current movements, have you heard of No Shave November?
No.
Yeah, it's mostly a men's thing to raise awareness about prostate cancer, though I'm not really sure how not shaving your face does that, but whatever.
Okay, so it's about men not shaving their faces.
Yes.
I only know Movember, which is about mustaches.
That's No Shave November.
Okay,
November,
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing. Some women online have used it as an experiment with not shaving for the month. And there are a number of women online who have really documented their body hair regrowth experience, which I think is really interesting. But in 2013, there was kind of a counter movement to No Shave November called Armpits for August, which encouraged women to not shave their armpits for the month to raise awareness and funds for polycystic ovary syndrome, which also causes women to grow hair and have, it has really bad side effects other than that. But yeah.
So one woman who has polycystic ovary syndrome, which in her case results in excessive facial hair, is, and I'm not going to pronounce that correctly, Hanam Kaur.
I think that's good.
Okay.
And says the woman who always fucks up everyone's name.
I mean, as long as you prove it, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So I'll put a photo on Instagram. You probably have seen her already. If you are following, like, feminist pages on Facebook and whatever, you've probably seen her. So as I already said, one of the symptoms of polycystic ovary syndrome is hirsutism. I think that, that's apparently what it's called, which is the ability to grow excessive facial and body hair. And Kaur has a full beard as a result of that. And apparently, as a child, unsurprisingly, she was bullied very badly. She was abused and harassed on a daily basis. And that's the reason why she, in the beginning, tried to remove her facial hair. But then she decided to let it grow. let it grow, let it grow. And she became one of the sheroes of the body positive movement.
Yeah.
And there is an interview with her by a magazine called Rock and Roll Bride.
Okay.
Yeah. Where she says, quote, I decided to keep my beard and step forward against society's expectations of what a woman should look like. Today, I'm not suicidal and I don't do self-harm. Today, I'm happy living as a young, beautiful, bearded woman. I've realized that this body is mine. I own it. I do not have any other body to live in, so I may as well love it unconditionally.
Yeah, I think that it's so interesting because we always associate beards with men, and for a woman to say, like, this is how my body functions. This is, you know, what's going on with my body causes this to happen, and forcing people to deal with that is such a really subversive and powerful thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. And actually, she used to be a teacher, but now she works full-time as an activist and a model. Awesome. And her profiles on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook and YouTube, she uses those to contribute to various body positivity campaigns. And she also is very active when it comes to fighting body shaming in general, cyberbullying, mental illness. And she also keeps challenging gender stereotypes. Mm-hmm. And she's also said, quote, I don't think I believe in gender. I want to know who said a vagina is for a woman and a penis is for a man, or pink is for a girl and blue is for a boy. I'm sitting here with a vagina and boobs and a big, beautiful beard.
Yeah.
And she's also stated that she named her beard Sundre, which means beauty or beautiful. And she also refers to her beard as she.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I'll post, again, links to her Instagram and Facebook in the show notes. And I'm going to post like a picture of her on Instagram. So you probably know who she is already. So.
I think she's actually one of the women who has been part of this hashtag campaign on Facebook that actually started out in France. That's hashtag princesses have body hair. Mm-hmm. And I don't speak French well, so I'm going to say this and it's going to be terrible. But les princesses ont des poils. That's terrible.
I would say les princesses ont des poils.
Poils? Yeah, that's probably right.
I think.
That sounds better. Anyway, it was a French movement to focus on body positivity, specifically on body hair positivity. And there are great messages, on Facebook or Instagram and Twitter. And one Twitter user at Celine, Francesca wrote, quote, it's funny to see how angry men are getting over the hashtag, so scared to lose control over how women groom, which I think is the whole point about this, that, you know, patriarchy has been businesses have been controlling the way that women interact with their body hair and how their body hair is conceived by culture. And so even just using this hashtag to point out that like women have body hair and this is a thing, you know, that's the whole thing. So having body hair in a culture that has controlled women's bodies and their grooming habits for so long is really a radical act. And it's telling society that you are rejecting their standards of what it means to be a woman and you are reclaiming your body for yourself. There are a ton of women on Insta who are doing the same thing, whether it's women who are dyeing their body hair, typically armpit hair, but who knows? I mean, like pubic hair, it can be like shaped and vajazzled. That is a word.
Vajazzled?
Yeah, vajazzled.
Okay.
Anyway, these women are reclaiming their bodies from social pressure, aka the patriarchy. And I believe that Harnam Kaur is one of the women, you know, who has been part of this hashtag campaign as well.
Yeah, that's very likely.
Yeah. But again, you don't have to do this to understand that body hair is a social construct and our relationship to body hair is a social construct. It's
probably not the body hair itself that is a social construct, but the way we judge it and the way we categorize it and the way we view it culturally.
Although I will say, like, the way we view it, like our idea that having no hair is more hygienic, that's a social construct. That's something that Gillette created. That's something that, you know, people have put forward as a social norm for years and years, but we have to be willing to investigate how it is that this came about, and then judge for ourselves whether that's something that we want to keep doing